Welcome to this video tutorial meant to help students prepare for their individual oral commentaries, specifically looking at Shakespeare. Step 1 to this guide is to know where you are and be able to place the extract in the greater text. In any great work of literature, you're going to see change happen. Specifically, you're going to see the evolution of specific characters. So when you're looking through the extract, ask yourself, how are these characters changing, evolving, developing? What specific change can you point to? Analyze that change. Why did the author need that change to occur? It would not be uncommon in a Shakespearean drama to see the use of soliloquy. Soliloquy comes from the Latin solo, meaning to oneself, and loquor, meaning I talk. Put it together and you understand that soliloquy means a character speaking directly to him or herself. This is different, of course, from the monologue where we would have a character addressing other characters. So whenever Shakespeare employs the use of soliloquy, it's really important that he is showing a character being super reflective, obviously dealing with some issues that they're mulling over within their own person. So you'd want to ask, what is it that they are reflecting upon, and why is it important to reflect? Since you want to make sure that you're showing knowledge not only of the extract but also of the greater work, you're going to want to say or suggest that you understand how this character is different within this extract than they are at the end of the play. You should be able to suggest an understanding of the change that's happened. We looked at that a little bit earlier, but make sure that you are looking at the character as a whole, now and then. When looking at a specific extract, you're going to want to pause, take a moment, and see if the tone takes a turn. Now, of course, this would have to happen through the words or actions of the characters. So be sure that you are thinking about your vocabulary for interpreting tone. And look to see, have our characters gone from mocking to modest? Have they gone from scornful to sentimental? Where is it, if there is a shift in tone? Be sure that you're able to identify it, explain how that shift occurs, and why that shift was necessary. Let's talk about irony and the different types of irony that Shakespeare could be putting to use in your extract. Now, irony, by being incongruent to the reality of a situation, what that actually does is it asserts the real truth. We have verbal irony, where somebody is saying the opposite of what they actually mean. This is often done through ironic simile. An example of that might be, oh, that's as clear as espresso. Espresso obviously not being a very clear liquid. I'm being a bit sarcastic and using simile to assert the actual truth. We also have situational irony, where what we expect and the actual result are different. So, in the classic story, The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy wants to go home. She's on this mission to get back home. By the end of the story, she realizes that she had the power to go back home all along. We also have dramatic irony, and that's where the audience has a bit more information than at least one of the characters on stage, thus empowering the spectator. Now, why is it that Shakespeare would want to use irony in your extract? This classic image from the movie Jaws is a perfect example for us of dramatic irony, when we, the audience, know a little bit more than one of the characters as shown here. So, the point is, why would the author construct this to be so? What effect does us knowing about the shark and the swimmer not knowing about the shark have on our viewing? It obviously makes the situation a great deal more dramatic. It's going to pique our emotional interest. It's also going to make the moment much more tense. Therefore, we've got a lot of tension, we have a lot of anxiety. We're going to want to see what happens next. It's also really important that you're able to listen to your extract and think about whether or not Shakespeare is using rhyme or prose and the effect that that's going to have. When a character uses rhyme, it's often when he or she is giving advice, making a joke, or pointing us to a moral. Think about the old adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Prose is usually reserved for a more serious tone or perhaps the opposite of that, when a character goes absolutely crazy or berserk. And that would be, of course, because if you've lost your mind, it's going to be difficult to have the kind of organizational thought and basically bearings of mind to be able to actually make a rhyme. So make sure, again, that you're looking for that choice, rhyme versus prose, in the extract. While you're listening, you also want to listen for when characters twist one another's words, or perhaps when they're completing each other's thoughts. What would that suggest about their relationship? What would that suggest about their dialogue? What new information does that sort of wordplay offer to you, the reader? Of course, it's also very important for you to be looking at the ways that Shakespearean characters interact with one another. How do they treat each other? If one character is very cruel to another character, what insight does that give you to that character's mindset? If one character is very caring to another character, is that foreshadowing of something to come? Has that character always been caring towards that other character? Make sure that you fully unpacked the ways that the characters interact. It's also really important to look at the characters that are appearing in your extract and to ask yourself how those characters add or help construct the themes of the play. How do they add to the idea of the ideal of social grace, perception and deception, or the importance of honor? Make sure that you're checking to see if anything that's happening in your extract is foreshadowing events to come. How could the end of the play not have been possible without the events that happen within your extract? When you're looking at the extract, also be asking yourselves which of the characters that appear has the power. Are we seeing a shift in power relationships? Are we seeing one character dominate another character? Or are we seeing characters share power? During my initial reading of any Shakespearean extract, I'm going to be looking for what I call the essential words. Which words warrant emphasis, and what has Shakespeare done to emphasize or give power to those words within the extract? After your initial first close reading of the extract, it's very important that you then move into the gear that allows you to begin connecting the dots. You want to make connections between the various literary devices. You want to be able to make connections between some of the points that you're making. And themes are a great place to connect those dots towards. Make sure, again, that your points aren't just standing out there all on their own, but they're all linking back to some sort of thesis statement you want to make. Good luck with your close reading, your annotating, and of course with delivering a fantastic individual oral commentary.